afternoon, guys. In the first two episodes of this series, we touched upon the meaning of leadership and the scope of leadership, and we went into a lot of concept in a very flimsy way, just to get an intro or feel of about what leadership is. Now we will delve a little bit deeper into leadership and a lot of its aspects. So now we will try to go a little bit deeper, and the first thing that comes to mind is uh, what makes a leader. Then some people debate about the characteristic that a leader is born, not made. Some people say a leader is made, not born. It's a big debate that has been happening for a very long time. But basically, when you look at it in plain view, what you can see is there is a part of the leader which shows his or her characteristics, and there is a part of a leader which shows his or her skills at leadership. So now we will try to look into that, what we really mean by characteristics, what we really mean by skills. Now, if you look at characteristics, basically it's more into what we say inborn traits. When we refer to skills, it's more into what we train and polish ourselves into. But skill doesn't mean they are devoid of characteristics, and characteristics traits does not mean that they cannot be polished. Everyone is not born perfect. You can view these two from an example of a carpenter. He has a shop, and how he behaves with the customer or with his own work reflects his characteristics. But the way he produces his chair, the quality, the sturdiness, the final finish reflects his skills. So, having given this brief intro, let's delve into what is the characteristic of a leader. What do we mean by the skills of the leader? So first we'll handle what is the difference between characteristics and skills. Characteristics are inherent personal qualities. Like I said, it's something inside you, but it doesn't mean that it should not be worked upon. From time to time you have to call upon them, work upon them, and improve and be a better person. Skills, on the other hand, the practical things that you do, how you develop them, like a carpenter or a mason or a teacher. You see, now when you attend a BA course, and then that's what you're doing. You're trying to train yourselves on the skills of a teacher, teaching skills. But as a teacher, it also is about your characteristics, that how you handle your class, how sincere you are, what kind of discipline you follow in handling that class or preparing for the class. So it reflects, from a characteristic point of view, it reflects on who you are, and from a skill point of view, it reflects what you can do. So when you walk into a class, the way you greet the students, the way you make them feel comfortable is who you are. That is your characteristic. When you get on the platform, take the chalk or whatever and go to the blackboard and then conduct your class, that is the skill that you inherently show, what you can do as a teacher. Characteristics are relatively stable, like they are inborn. You work upon them, you become better at it, and suddenly you don't change. A nice person will always be nice, no matter you meet him or her in the marketplace or while traveling or in class, in office, in a wedding ceremony, wherever. A nasty person will be nasty most of the time. Very few times that person will be nice depending on his or her need to be nice. Otherwise, basically, he or she is a nasty person. So these characteristics are stable. So don't expect nice things from a nasty colleague. So, and skill can be learned, refined, and improved. See, characteristics can also be need not learned, but you can be aware of them and you can improve. So we will see. We will go now deeper into what characteristics of the leader uh, is really all about. A leader is a visionary thinker. Now, this cannot be trained into him to think and to have a vision. That is inborn in him. Maybe since his childhood, maybe since his college days, he has dreamed to be something or to lead a group or do something. So that is a vision. He's a visionary thinker. For example, when you take any example in the world of all the famous leaders, the good ones and the bad ones, they are visionary thinkers. For example, now you can take of a buffoon like Trump. You see, he's also a visionary thinker. He thought about MAGA, that is Make America Great Again. Of course, he used this for different purposes to further his own agenda, but still it reflects about the vision that he had for America and how it is playing out now. For example, if you come back to our country and if you look at Vallabhbhai Patel as a visionary thinker, he wanted India as a whole, not as a few parts distributed here and there, and in between there were some princely states run by some princes and some mini kings. He said, no, this is not the kind of India we want as independent India. He made sure he visited all those kings, all those princesses, and gave them some offers, maybe threatened them, and so on. But in the end, he bound that one physical space into India without anyone in between trying to say that this is a different country within India. So you see, visionary thinker, problem solver. Again, I gave this same example of Vallabhbhai Patel. I don't think so. All the princes agreed very willingly. They had to be, and that was a problem. So he had to go and solve those problems. Effective communicator and adaptable. Once again, if you have to solve a problem in your team, then if you cannot communicate well, then maybe the people will not be convinced to follow you. Like we always say, a leader is always in connection with the followers. If there are no followers, there are no leaders. So if a leader cannot communicate well, his vision, his thinking, his vision of the future, then not many people will be convinced. For example, I'll give you. We all know the movie Sholay, Gabbar Singh. He says, "Holi kab hai? Holi kab hai?" And they go to raid the village. But if he was a feeble leader, he'll say, "Holi kab hai? चलते हैं करते हैं." आई थिंक सांबा उठ से अरे ये इसको अपने आप को संभाल नहीं पा रहा है, हम लोगों कहाँ संभालेगा. So I don't think so. They would have followed him. Even in the case of today, of Narendra Modi ji, he is a visionary thinker. But if he would not be able to communicate his vision to the masses, then I don't think so. The whole country would be standing behind him for whatever cause he is espousing. So you have to be a communicator, an effective communicator, because without that, a big part of a leader is totally lost. And a leader has to be adaptable. That is the characteristics of the leader. If a leader says that no, this is what I think, this is what I want, and to hell with you, I think not many followers will be remaining with him for a long time unless they are useless guys who have nothing to do in life and only can, hold the strings of this leader. Capable people will leave. then he has to be a person with integrity. See, again, it's about his characteristics. Now, this cannot be learned as a skill that I'll try to be honest, or I'll try to be integral. The next part is empathy. If you are not empathetic towards your staff or towards your followers, I think at some point of time they definitely will leave you, or at least the feeling within the group will not be very good. So this is one of the important characteristics: decision taking and accountable. Very important. Sometimes some leaders want to do a lot of things. When they fail, they hold someone else accountable. They put the whole responsibility on them. I think a honest leader, again it comes back to integrity. A leader with good integrity will stand up and say that yes, this was my mistake, I lost. I can give you an example. See, when you see integrity, decision making, accountability, we can go and remember what Abdul Kalam had done. One of the first rockets, or one, not the maybe the first, around that time, one rocket failed, and but he was not actually involved in that rocket blast off and all that. He had a team, but the moment it failed, he went to the press conference himself, not let the chief of the operation go ahead, and he very clearly said, I have failed, this is my mistake, and we'll try to do better. See, that is that integrity and the decision making skills of a leader. So now we will move further and see what others see. Finally, in the center, that is responsible person, which is the leader. If you look at everything, problem solver, effective communicator, adaptable, accountable, decision maker, personal integrity, you can put it in a small bag, pouch, and tie a ribbon and label that ribbon as responsible. A person has to be responsible, and then everything follows. So one of the very important characteristics of a leader is he has to be responsible. Now we will go a little bit academic wise into few of those which we have already discussed, and I've added a few here so that maybe we don't miss a few of them. Just mix and match. So don't come back and say that you had said that and you did not explain here. So here we see integrity, vision, empathy, confidence. We already discussed it in our first slide, so we can rush over here. It means being honest, being transparent. You make a mistake, you own that mistake up. Being ethical. Like I said, Abdul Kalam, when that rocket failed, he was ethically responsible to go and say it was my mistake. Vision, we have already discussed that. To see into the future, where my organization must go, where I have to land after 10 years. Empathy enables leaders to understand others' feelings and perspective. I think somewhere in the past I had given one example as to how I was not feeling well, and so my performance was not so well for the week. My boss asked me about it, and I told him about my not being well, and he said, I don't care about you are sick or not sick, as long as you are not dead. I want my numbers. So this person surely lacks empathy for whatever reason. Anyways, what happens is I left the company very soon. So empathy is very important part of a characteristic of a leader. Confidence, you see, when a leader is not confident, then how you can imbibe the sense of confidence in your followers. The followers look up to you. Sometimes maybe we have doubts about a project or something like that. Maybe we are not sure it's going to happen or not, and maybe we are not well equipped, the organization is not well equipped. But if this gets reflected in your behavior, then the followers will lose more confidence. But if you just keep these doubts at the back of the mind, but show a strong front and belief in the project that is being discussed or is being brought forth, then somehow the followers will also not doubt about it, and maybe they'll give more than what they would have given if they were doubting the whole project and doubting you as a leader. To show confidence to your followers is a very important aspect of a leader. So we will go further. Once again, accountability, we already discussed. Resilience, resilience is we have not touched upon before. Fairness and humility. See, resilience means, see, we know in life, it's not that every time everything will be okay, everything will be fine, we'll all succeed. No, real life that doesn't happen. There are failures more than what there are successes. But a successful leader in the end is the one who is resilient, who falls, who picks up himself, stands again, and starts walking. Himself or herself. Don't catch me on that. So that is a resilient leader. If you see all the leaders in the world, at some point of time, even political leaders, they have lost elections, but they have not just resigned and gone home. They have fought another election. Sometimes, as a leader, the project that you are trying to execute does not go where you need. So then you rework the project, and then you try to execute it once again, and hopefully you can find success. The best example for today I can give you is Elon Musk. He tried to go into rocket business through his company SpaceX, and the first rocket did not take off. The second rocket blasted off, but it blew in the air. So three, four, five, so many rockets. Ultimately, he had no money. Somehow he hoped that this one rocket would still go off and do what it was supposed to do, so that he can go further. And so, coming to courage, what we can see is that it's important that a leader be courageous. Without that, how can he instill the sense of courage into his team if they are not able to believe in themselves? How can you implement a project which is very difficult? We come to the next characteristics of a leader is commitment. Sometimes a leader may promise a few things at the beginning of the project, and as the project goes on, he or she may find it a little bit difficult. Then there is always a temptation to go back on your word and say that I didn't see that, or it's not possible now. I think a leader must be committed to whatever he has promised, whether he has promised to his staff, whether he has promised to the market, whether he has promised to his country. He has to keep his word. Otherwise, at the end of the day, they will know this leader is not trustworthy. And when you go back to the last slide and see that a leader who is not trustworthy will reflect on him being not responsible to his staff, to his followers. So it's very important to be able to be seen as a person who is committed. So let's move and see what technically it says is a willingness to take risks, stand by one's conviction, even under pressure. Sometimes I just gave an example. If a leader of a school which has never ventured into anything digital suddenly decides that they want to take the school digital, then there can be so many hiccups. The internet can go off, the connections can go off, the equipment may not run at times, the software glitches may be there, the staff may not be able to handle the complex ways of the internet, the filling of the forms, or generally handling the software. When I started this online thing, I felt it quite cumbersome. It took me a lot of time. So if you don't have the courage, the leader within a month or so he'll give up. He'll say no. There are so many problems happening. I'll not be able to conduct my school well. We go back to the paper. So then under pressure, he just gives up. Commitment is dedication to your goals and responsibility. Again, I just a little bit earlier, if you are not seen as committed, then you will be not seen as not responsible. You will be seen as a not responsible person. So it reflects both ways. We move further now and see that we already touched upon the characteristics of the leader. What the basically the leader is made up of: commitment, responsible, fair, courageous. But if you see, this suddenly doesn't happen. A child, since childhood, is always courageous. Some children are not. So this is a trait that is there in you, and you make it better as you grow. But a skill that is there in a person born is not able to write, correct? Then as he joins school, he starts learning to write. Then maybe he learns to write cursive writing. Then maybe he learns to write numbers. Then he knows to write. He learns to to do arithmetic, and he becomes better and better. And he learns algebra in higher school. So what is happening is his skills of reading, writing, doing maths, he increases as the years goes by. So similarly, in a leader, the skills required to make sure he fulfills his responsibility as a leader uh, need to be sharpened, and maybe if required, he needs to train at them. So let's see a few skills: communication and conflict resolution skills. Communication we already discussed a little bit earlier. Conflict resolution in an office environment, there is n number of conflicts: conflict regarding work, conflict regarding people, conflict regarding feelings, conflict regarding fairness. So as and when the conflict arises, it is the leader's responsibility to resolve them. There are some leaders who ignore this conflict, but when that happens is after some time the whole thing turns into a mess. So a good leader will try to sometimes will try to preempt any chances of conflicts, but when they do turn up, he's already aware of that and he's ready with the solution. That's the best way to handle a conflict. Sometimes in a knowledge worker situation where people are educated, they are given the responsibility to work in a team to get job done. Then what happens is, because the people involved are educated and think for themselves, there may be a clash of opinion, or the way thing has to be executed. So this difference of opinion can sometimes get into heated clashes. So is the leader's job to enter into this situation, try to make both the parties see reason, and then to make them meet halfway. Maybe they don't agree totally, but at least they can agree to disagree. Emotionally intelligent, like I said in the earlier part, that he has to be empathetic. He or she has to feel the things that his staff feels. Maybe he need not give his arm and leg to that, but to be at least seen to be caring is very important. Of course, it should not border to the extent of being sounding fake. Problem solving skills, we have already touched upon that. Decision making skills, a leader's life fully revolves around decision making on a day-to-day basis, on a future direction of the company or the organization basis. Decisions are his part of life. So he should be able to make decisions based on what the facts are, what the resources are, what is needed right now. He cannot just dream something fantastic and start implementing the plan, and halfway he cannot go through because there are lack of resources or some issue happen. So this decision has to be well planned. So if he is not very skilled at it, hodgepodge idhar bhi karo, udhar bhi karo, I think things will go. And he has to have administrative skills. Now, a office or a organization or a school or a college or a private organization will always have people working in it and will be always connected with people. So when these two groups come together, there has to be a system as to who is going to do what will happen after that. Paperwork is there, handling the people are there. In a school system, there are classes to be taken, exams to be taken, functions to be organized. So he has to be skilled administratively also, so that the work of the office runs very smoothly. Delegation skills and digital native. Delegation skills, a very important skill of a leader is to be able to delegate, because when he delegates a few things which are not important, then he has enough time to do planning for the organization. If the if the if the leader gets himself involved in every small bits of things that the office or the organization is involved, then he will not have enough time to sit back and plan for the organization. Plus, his team will not believe in themselves, because you are not giving them any confidence that you trust them to handle even those small jobs. So it's very important to be able to skilled enough to delegate, because you cannot delegate everything. So you have to be smart enough to know what to delegate and what not to delegate. So further we will go digital native. Today, the world is going in such a direction that very soon AI will take control of our lives and of our jobs also. So with that in picture, if a leader of 21st century is a digital nomad, then it's very difficult to be able to be successful in the current state of situation that our world is in, globally, locally, as well as nationally. Robust strategic thinking and conflict resolution skills. Once again, conflict resolution skill has come double. So strategic thinking. From time to time, certain issues happen in an organization, and it is the leader's prerogative to be able to take a decision as to where should we go. There are two paths, so then you have to sit down and strategically think that should we go this way, should we go that way, what are the pros and cons of this way, what are the pros and cons of that way. So it's very important, because once you make as a leader, you are required to make long term decisions. If you fail at that, then after some time you'll realize that you have made a mistake. It's too late to go back, or you would have lost a lot of resources with respect to time and money. We'll move further. Skills of a leader. Now we have already discussed quite a lot in the last slides. We'll just run through these technically what it speaks about. Communication, we already know, is you should be able to express very clearly and very confidently as to what your views are, what you expect the team to do. Sometimes, you may not be very confident speaker, but you can train yourself from by joining a professional course, or you can keep practicing and keep getting better at it. I can give you my example. In school and maybe some part of college, I was not very confident in meeting people, talking to them, very shy. And so today, if you see me, you'll never believe that was the guy who's taking lectures today, and sometimes getting chance to speak on a world stage. But I had to work over it. So it's a skill you have to develop. day in and day out. Decision making also, that is skill, because in decision making, you as a leader, you have to be very observant as to what is happening. Based on that, you should be able to analyze things, and based on that, you should be able to synthesize things, and based on that, you have to be able to implement. So that decision making process has to go through all this process. If you're not skilled, if you're not a good observer, everything just goes here and there, and it does not stand up to your attention, then very difficult that you are going to end up making a very good decision. Delegation, we already touched. Problem solving, uh, as a characteristic and as a skill, also it reflects. So it can come in both sides. So don't question me later. Conflict management skills, same. Time management is very important, because if as a leader you're not able to manage time, then it's very difficult for your staff or for any program which has to be implemented to go on smoothly. You have to be able to know your priorities, what is important now, what is not important. You cannot have a cultural program just a few days before the exams. The parents, the students, the teachers, no one's going to be happy. So you have to know your priorities. Deadlines, sometimes the university, or sometimes even in commercial spaces, there are tenders to be filled and there are deadlines. If you are not very time conscious, you have not managed your time well, you won't be able to get all the papers together into a file, or all the documents, or all the needs of the application, and you may miss the deadline, and you may miss the opportunity. That is a sign of a failed leader. So time management skills are very important. Motivational skills, because the leader, when we speak of a leader, it reflects the leader as a person who is connected with people. So if you are a team leader, whether politically, commercially, or educationally, if you are not able to motivate your team, sometimes things are difficult and not very easy to handle. But if your team is not motivated, then they'll give up very, very easily and very quickly. But if you are able to motivate them, if they believe in you, see, once again we come back to the characteristics of a leader, that there it is here, that when they believe in you, and then when they know that you are a trustworthy leader, then that itself is a motivation enough for them to give their best. Strategic thinking skills, we already discussed in the previous slide, that sometimes an organization comes at crossroads, and they have to decide what to do, what not to do. For example, a school finds that a lot of its students are leaving. I've got involved in one of the cases, and the number of students is going down, and what they realized was there are few international schools coming up, and parents are pulling their children from here and putting them there. So now suddenly it is very important to think strategically as to now, should they open a section which caters to those who want to be educated in international school environment, or should we continue and make things better over here? So not many people will leave, because it involves a lot of financial decision and a lot of work to set up a new school, set up a new thinking. One day, in one of those cases, I had to tell the principal that you have been running this school as if it is your fiefdom, as if it is your kingdom, and you could order the parents out, you could order everyone out, you could shout at them, because this has been the culture of these kinds of schools for hundreds of years. But if you are planning to go into a section which deals with the international type of schooling, then you cannot carry on this attitude there, because it's a different story. Here, your parents will be standing outside the school, and you will not care about it. But there, you'll have to give a big AC room, well furnished, for the parents to come, sit and relax. Maybe some cold drinks are available in the fridge for them. So It's a totally different attitude. So at this juncture where they decide, so they have to strategically think of all the consequences, all the input that will be required, and then make a decision. Because once they make a decision, it's a very big decision. So a leader has to think very, very strategically. Adaptability. So like I said, the same example. Now this leader has been the principal of these kinds of schools for donkey's years. Now she is facing a problem. So now the option is to go into an international kind of a school. But then if she is not adaptable, like I gave her an example here, you can order people out. There, they will order you out. Are you adaptable to that? And I can tell you, later on she decided, no, no, I can't do all that. So they did not go into an international school. And they've got used to ordering parent out. Hey, kya kar raha hai idhar? Ja udhar se. Like that. So you cannot deal with like that with parents who are paying 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, coming in the BMWs to drop their children. So coaching and mentoring skills. A leader of an organization or a group, whether it's in your school or private college or a corporate or anywhere, even in a small group, even in your family, as a father, as a mother, basically you are a father figure. So in that sense, the responsibility of coaching and mentoring falls on you. One of the things we handled in the first few episodes is that he has to nominate and train someone to be the future leader, to take over the organization. But then that happens through mentoring and coaching. If you are not a good leader who is planning for the future of the organization, in case maybe you want to retire or give up, then what happens? The whole organization can be in a mess. So that is long term. Even small term, there are things happening from time to time. People get discouraged about the work, about the people around. Maybe there are relationship clashes within in the group. Then, as a good leader, you should be able to mentor them into into ignoring the few issues or hiccups happening and looking at the brighter side, and still going on, and maybe guide them into the correct path. Maybe if they lack something, then maybe coach them into taking some training courses and making their skills better, and so on. So in conclusion, what we can say is characteristics and skills together shape effective leaders. It is not just characteristics or it is just skills. In the beginning of this episode, I have started saying that characteristics are there in you, but they have to be woken up and they have to be worked on for you to become a better person day after day. And skills may not be inherently in you, but then you have to work over it. But to some extent, that skill has to be there within you. It cannot be just got out of thin air. So both of them work together. Characteristics form moral and personal foundation of a leadership. Based on your character, based on how trustworthy you are, based on how honest you are, based on how ethical you are, based on how empathetic you are, the people will judge you and your personal foundation as who you are. It will reflect on your day-to-day behavior. And while the skills will translate into the qualities of your action as a leader, are you able to undertake a job and able to give it a meaningful end to it as per the plan, or you are just not capable of running an organization? So many mistakes happening in this department, that department, everyone is running helter skelter, and you have no idea or no clue how to solve this problem. In education, this balance ensures that the leaders not only inspire trust but also achieve practical results. See, from a character point of view, you inspire people, they trust you, they look up to you, and they are able to, be motivated. But from a practical point of view, you are able to achieve results for your organization based on your skills and the skill of your team. If they are not, if you are just a very good leader and you are not able to give results, it's meaningless. Or you are able to push everyone and make their life a mess and get results. Even that is not a very good sign of a leader or an organization, because it will not last for too long. It is not sustainable. So if you match both together, characteristics as well as skill, as a leader you can sustain, and the organization which you run, it will be a sustainable organization and on the path to growth, as far as the environment allows you to. We have touched upon this a little bit a dicey concept of characteristics and skills. I hope we were able to get a fair idea. And in the next episode, we will go into understanding what a leader and what a manager is, and why we look at them in a different way. And is it really different? Is it really necessary for us to think about them as different, or it is just an academic exercise? So we will meet on the other side next time and handle that issue. So thank you very much for being here. I hope it was a useful session for you, and goodbye.